Hi, I'm Angela, and I am a medical marijuana patient. This is the Reefer Report for March 11, 2010. A group of Colorado lawmakers have taken a stand by officially requesting that Attorney General Eric Holder put a stop to dispensary and lab raids in the state. KREX has more.
Colorado lawmakers are trying to regulate marijuana dispensaries. Well, they're asking the U.S. Attorney General to stop the raids of medicinal pot operations. Now, the group emailed the request to Eric Holder today following a letter sent last week. Lawmakers say the raids are discouraging dispensary operators and medical marijuana patients and growers from working with them on their proposed regulations. So agents have raided a Denver man's home for pot plants along with 2 laboratories that tested medical marijuana after their owners applied for drug licenses.
One Colorado Springs district attorney seems to think his assumptions are fact, and one council member calls out the groupthink propaganda. KRDO has more.
The City Council is studying the medical marijuana and dispensary issues to see how they will affect Colorado Springs in the future. Now, today, the City Council decided to send the ball back into the Municipal Employees Court. Council wants the city to continue working with the Medical Marijuana Task Force, and should there be any major issues, they are to be brought to the council in the future. This decision comes after strong words and heated debate from everyone in the council, specifically Councilman Sean Page and El Paso District Attorney Dan May.
Selling marijuana is illegal under any circumstances. That's not just my opinion, it's the Attorney General's opinion, it's the acting U.S. Attorney for Colorado's opinion.
When you broad brush a whole industry saying that all these dispensaries that are out there and engaged in fraud, I think that's really unfair.
Now, we are talking about 2 different ordinances that are at work here, one regarding business licenses for dispensaries and the other land use regulations. The city attorney's office tells me that both of these issues will be up for a vote, for a public vote, and El Paso District Attorney Dan May tells me he is actually not opposed to medical marijuana in the caregiver and patient type of medical marijuana, but is opposed to dispensaries because he says they promote selling the drug for unintended uses. Now, the state legislation will vote on the legality of marijuana in general sometime in May, so any decisions that are made by the city today or in the future could change by that point once there's more clarity on the issue. Reporting live from downtown Colorado Springs, Maria Garcia, News Channel 13.
Some Colorado medical marijuana patients gathered to discuss the implications of House Bill 1284 if it were to pass. Here's NBC 11 with this.
Diane says marijuana is the best choice to deal with her pains and medical problems.
It calms me down, lets me sleep, it takes the pain away. The ointments, I can put ointments on my joints.
Diane and almost 100 other medical marijuana supporters gathered at the Clifton Community Hall to unify their voices against new legislation.
They're going to make regulations and rules for it, but they don't need to make them to the point that they're going to hurt us, that they're going to raise the price.
Travis Chambers, owner of God's Gift, says laws regarding medical marijuana need to be more specific, but they don't need to make it harder for people to get their medicine.
Nobody, the government doesn't know what's going on. Us as dispensary owners or patients don't know what's going on.
And that's why the legislature is looking at reform.
Broad and sweeping the amount of things that need to be done in reference to medical marijuana.
The bill that's currently in the House would give the state and the city the power to license dispensaries and would put more restrictions on who can write prescriptions and what's required to get one.
I think that the idea of a pot shop on every corner is unacceptable and is not what Colorado voters approved with Amendment 20.
But the dispensaries and patients think if the legislation passes, they would be forced to shut down shop.
It's going to close dispensaries down. It's going to raise the price of marijuana up for their medicine.
The debate is far from over. A vote hasn't even been scheduled yet, but Diane is hoping it won't take her medicine away. In Clifton, Liz Mars, KKCO 11 News.
Need another reason not to shop at Wal-Mart? Here's one. A Michigan medical marijuana patient with sinus cancer was just recently fired from his job at Wal-Mart in Battle Creek. Adding insult to injury, this man isn't just an ordinary Wal-Mart associate, he's an award-winning employee. Here's WWMT with this.
Jeff, Joe Casillas has been battling sinus cancer for years now. Now, to combat both the illness as well as the chronic pain, he's actually been taking medical marijuana. But the decision may have cost him his job.
And I've worked there 5 years. I went above and beyond my job for 5 years. I've done everything I could possibly need to do.
Wal-Mart was Joe's life. During his 5 years at this Battle Creek store, he racked up award after award, including Associate of the Year.
I never went to work under the influence. You know, I always was 100% focused on the job at hand.
But in the blink of an eye, that job was gone.
Pulled in the office and was terminated because I failed my drug screen for medical marijuana.
The state says Joe is allowed to use medical marijuana. He even showed me his state-issued card. Still, Wal-Mart wouldn't budge.
I feel very strongly that I was wrongfully terminated.
He wanted answers from Wal-Mart, so I called their home office in Arkansas. They wouldn't go on camera, but sent News Channel 3 their response. In a state such as Michigan, an employee can still enforce a policy that requires a termination of an employee following a positive screen. John Tarkowski is a Kalamazoo attorney and has put the state's Michigan marijuana laws to the test.
Than somebody who merely has a state law privilege to cultivate, use, and consume marijuana may not be protected. I know that other state courts have not granted them the right to be, be a medical marijuana user and have a job.
And for Joe, he's going to keep fighting.
Why should I lose their whole lifestyle just for having medical marijuana?
Now, I asked Joe if he could choose between either medical marijuana or his job. Well, the answer's simple. He told me that he would choose Wal-Mart. Meanwhile, he tells me that he's looking for an attorney in this case. Reporting live in Battle Creek, Eric Gimmel, News Channel 3.
Grand Rapids is now regulating medical marijuana dispensaries, or lack thereof, in a unique way. I'm just trying to figure out how forcing people to run a caregiver business out of their home addresses any issue. Here's WZZM with this.
As you're finding out, I think medical marijuana is a complicated topic.
Grand Rapids now has a medical marijuana ordinance that commissioners say balances community safety with compassion for patients.
The day may come, and maybe should come, when marijuana is decriminalized, but until that date, this feels to me like an approach that is a good balanced approach.
What we want to try to do is manage this.
Under the new ordinance, Grand Rapids caregivers who grow marijuana for qualifying patients must work from home. They can't open storefront dispensaries like they allow in California.
For instance, Los Angeles County, they have more dispensaries than McDonald's and Starbucks.
The homes also may not be within 1,000 feet of a school, but the commissioners deleted the section that said police, fire, and building inspectors could enter a grower's home at any time without a warrant.
Removing that last section.
Which was a big issue for the ACLU.
Well, that was clearly one of the major concerns, was this warrantless search thing. That's a real no-no as far as we're concerned.
I'm a patient for the medical marijuana program here in Michigan.
State law permits qualifying patients to use marijuana and says caregivers can grow the drug, but it doesn't specify how marijuana should be distributed. Grand Rapids and other municipalities are adopting their own rules.
And imposing more rules and limitations on the people that are already involved in this program helping each other, I think is wrong.
This is our first stab at it, and we can always go back, and if there are problems, we can go back and make amendments. So again, I think all of us are committed to making this the best that we can.
The ordinance takes effect as soon as the process to license home businesses is worked out, but no later than July 1st.